And back to our leading story now. Later on today, a SADC ministerial Troika meeting is expected to take place in the capital city of Botswana in Gaberone, with Zimbabwe high on that agenda, where Zimbabwe's ex-Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa is also expected to make a statement later today that could shed some light on the way forward for the country. Let's now get a quick update with our presidential correspondent, Mzwai Mbeje, who has just landed in Botswana. Very good afternoon to you, Mzwai. Do give us the very latest. When will that meeting on the Zim crisis actually begin?
Thank you very much, Alicia, and a very good afternoon to you and the viewers. In about 20 minutes, the meeting got underway, the SADC Troika meeting here in Gaberone at the headquarters of SADC. Minister Mzwai Mbeje is chairing this meeting together with Tanzania and Angola. So this meeting, Alicia, is quite important because they are discussing, as you have indicated, the fate of the situation in Zimbabwe right now. What I can tell you is that as the meeting is underway, we do get a sense that they are going to stress the fact that as the region, SADC, and of course the AU, a decision has been taken that there should be no unconstitutional change of government that should be allowed in the region. So I think that is the question that will really that they will really have to grapple with. So when we try to speak to some of the aides and people around here, the sense is that as much as people of Zimbabwe may have their ideas about what has transpired, but there is a position that the SADC region has taken, and of course the AU, that no matter the circumstances, and the unconstitutional change or the coup should never be allowed, and actually it should be condemned. It actually makes it even worse in the case of Zimbabwe, because next year Zimbabwe is set to hold the presidential elections. So it would be very important to hear what they will say after this meeting. So when we tried to probe them as to what is it that they were going to say, they said, you know what, they are meeting right now. After the meeting, they will hold the press conference, and then they'll be able to then give us a proper update. But as I'm saying, Alicia, the sense we are getting is that there is this attitude towards coups that they should not be allowed and they should be condemned.
Mzwai, look, let's talk about this. I know you might not have a lot of clarity on this, as we know you've just also arrived in Botswana for that meeting. The big story is, as you've just mentioned, the fact that there has been two proposals, one given to Mugabe to exit the country and get protection, VIP protection for him and his family, and of course for the ex-Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa to actually lead the transitional government. But who we want to find out is giving up this deal? Is it the army or is it SADC?
At this stage, Alicia, it will be very difficult to really confirm anything from these parts of the world, because Minister Mnangagwa was very, very cagey at the beginning. So when we tried to probe her to say what is the attitude and what is exactly happening, she said at this stage they are meeting and then they will report to the principals. That's when they will be able to then report back to us. So it's very unclear at this stage what position SADC is taking, except the fact that we have heard from sources that they will definitely come out and condemn the coup. All
right, and of course, Mzwai, can we expect an outcome from that meeting as of today?
There will be some kind of outcome, Alicia. They have promised us to say after the conclusion of this meeting, then they'll brief the media, because they know that everyone is waiting on the regional leadership as to what is the way forward. Because the entire region is really looking up to this SADC Troika to provide leadership. Everyone really does not know what is happening, so it's upon them. And it's going to be very interesting, Alicia. You know, President Jacob Zuma is going to come to Botswana later. This is a long scheduled trip because he is coming for the BNC. Bear in mind that he is also the chair of SADC. So it's an opportune moment for him to then not only deal with issues that affect Botswana and South Africa only, but deal with issues that affect the region as he is the chair. That is why you have the foreign ministers from the countries that I've mentioned, that is Tanzania, Angola, South Africa and Botswana here.
Mzwandile, thank you so much for that live update. That is our presidential correspondent. He's just landed out in Botswana, where the SADC Troika meeting is, of course, expected to take place. As we know, President Jacob Zuma is also on his way there. He's just been answering questions in the National Assembly. And as we've just heard from our reporter there, all the outcomes will be announced at a media briefing that is to take place immediately after the Troika meeting.